are over 5,000 superheroes on Marvel's roster, which is without even counting its entire roster of supervillains or other supporting characters. Out of these thousands of heroes, there are only a few that can claim to be as interesting or that have been around as long as the Silver Surfer. While at face value, the Silver Surfer might seem like a pretty unremarkable character, real fans know just how layered and complex this character truly is. Instead of the amount of hot trash we've gotten in this already saturated superhero film market, I kinda wish we would get a Silver Surfer solo film instead, and why not? The Cosmic Surfer has everything that a blockbuster film needs, as we'll prove in this video, yet it's been hamstrung over the years due to numerous issues. In this video, we'll be uncovering all these problems that have plagued the Silver Surfer's big solo debut, and we're also going to go over all the times that it almost did happen. So buckle up as we ride the waves of the power cosmic to explore WTF happened to the Silver Surfer movie. Let's get into it. So why didn't we ever get that Silver Surfer movie? It's something of an understated fact that most of the popular superheroes of today, especially the ones that belong in the MCU, were actually quite mid-tier prior to their big screen debut. While this might seem like a hot take, if you're a comic book fan from the 90s and early 2000s, you'll know that what I'm saying has a sprinkle of truth in it. I mean, as cool as they are, Iron Man, Captain America, Hawkeye, and the whole ensemble of Avengers were never that successful in their own individual comic book runs. You might argue that Hulk and Doctor Strange are exceptions to that, but I'd argue that neither of them are really permanent members of the Avengers roster. Prior to the MCU, Marvel's A-list heroes were Spider-Man, the X-Men, Hulk, Wolverine, and the Fantastic Four. The point we're trying to make is that the MCU took a huge gamble by promoting these characters that weren't really icons in the Marvel Universe, and it paid off. So why is there this narrative that the Silver Surfer is just too obscure a character to be popular in the mainstream? Why is it that even before Disney and Marvel, nobody's been able to come out with a decent Silver Surfer film? I mean, you've got everything you need for this character to be a major hit. You want a deeply personal story? Silver Surfer's got it. Before he was riding waves through the cosmos, Norrin Radd lived an ordinary life on the planet Zen-La. When Galactus the Devourer came to devour his planet, Radd made a hard decision in order to save his people, and most importantly, his love, Shalla-Bal. He struck a bargain with the World Eater. In exchange for the lives of his loved ones, Radd would serve as Galactus's herald, directing him to worlds fit for his consumption. However, by doing so, Norrin Radd compromises his own morality, knowing full well he's damning entire worlds, and also that he's unable to be with Shalla-Bal despite his sacrifice. I bet you can't think of another tale that's so tragic and personal, but at the same time so cosmic in scale. I mean, just think about it. Everything you need to make a good film is here. A robust backstory, personal tragedy, potential for insane visuals, a cosmic setting, and deep moral complexity. Yet, somehow, everyone's just passed the buck time after time, which is totally baffling. Enough of our griping though, let's talk about the times when Hollywood came close to bringing the Silver Surfer onto the silver screen alone. The 80s rock opera featuring Paul McCartney. While fans spent years crying out for a proper Silver Surfer flick, the world actually almost got one back in the 80s. The truly wild part is that it was going to be a sort of rock opera, and the soundtrack was going to be written by Beatles legend Paul McCartney. In the 1960s, around the time Silver Surfer had just made his debut in Fantastic Four number 48, an individual called Lee Kramer had become enamored by the character. Fans who are really deep into the comic book industry might recognize Kramer as a producer or executive tied to projects tied to comic books. He's also the co-founder of After Image Comics, not to be mistaken with Image Comics, which gives the likes of Spawn and Invincible. Back to our point though, Kramer had bought the rights to the Silver Surfer by 1970, and he approached none other than Stan Lee and Jack Kirby to create a new origin story for the character to fit his project. The two icons agreed to Kramer's proposal, and they wove a tale that was supposed to be treated as a one-off story, which was published as a graphic novel in 1978 titled The Silver Surfer. The entire purpose of this graphic novel was to be adapted into a film by Lee Kramer, but it was sold on shelves. In the story, the Surfer is still a herald of Galactus, but he's moved by humanity and betrays his master. In turn, Galactus creates another herald called Ardina to seduce and reel back the Silver Surfer into his servitude, but Ardina and Norrin Radd fall in love with each other and rebel once again. In the end, Ardina is killed, and the Surfer swears fealty to Galactus once more, but this time in exchange for sparing Earth. I don't know about you, but considering that the story was written by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, we think it's a pretty good one. Kramer even had Mr. Olympia, Frank Zane, ready to play the Surfer, with Olivia Newton-John set to play Ardina. Sadly for fans, Kramer was never as invested in the project as he had made it appear. Despite the hype, it's reported that he never actually tried to contact studios or other investors to get the film made. This led to the project being shelved and forgotten over time, which, in our books, is an absolute shame. Rise of the Silver Surfer. One hit, no spin-off. 2007 brought us the first appearance of the Silver Surfer on the big screen, but unfortunately, it wasn't a solo film like so many of us had hoped for. We were still hyped, considering we were finally getting the Silver Man in action in a movie, but Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer received lukewarm reception by fans and the box office, and honestly, in my opinion, the movie's an absolute stinker. If your movie about the Fantastic Four ends with one of the Fantastic Four going to fight Doom by themselves, you kind of missed the point. No matter how many people want to claim that the movie wasn't so bad nowadays, the few scenes in which the Surfer appears are actually some of the best parts of the film. However, this doesn't discount the fact that the movie was nothing to write home about. Unfortunately for us fans, this mediocre performance at the box office cost us an actual Silver Surfer solo film. You see, even before The Rise of the Silver Surfer had been released, Fox had already begun to set in motion the groundwork for a spin-off film based on the character. According to J. Michael Straczynski, who's both a screenwriter and a comic writer for Marvel, he's been approached by Fox to write a script for this spin-off. I'm sure you're as bummed as we are to hear that, because the film, by the sounds of it, had a pretty decent concept behind it. Allegedly, it would have explored the Surfer's time as Norrin Radd and the circumstances that led to him becoming Galactus' herald in more detail. Straczynski also confided that the film was slated to be a much darker take on the character, and it would have explored some very mature and complex themes. Unfortunately, the suits at Fox saw the performance of Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer and decided that the character wasn't popular enough to warrant a separate film. I mean, Fox had been taking L's left and right during this era for their superhero films, and now I think you can see why. Imagine being so out of touch with the fandoms for the characters you're making movies out of to not see just how big Silver Surfer really is with real fans. Then there's also the fact they ignored what we already said was one of the only good things about Rise of the Silver Surfer and decided that that very thing wasn't worth a second shot. In the end, they would not only can the spin-off, but also the entire Fantastic Four IP for quite some time, before releasing the unmitigated disaster that was the 2015 Fantastic Four film. It's honestly painful that Fox gave that movie a shot, but not a Silver Surfer spin-off. Let's just move on before I get depressed. Rights, drama, secret scripts, and the Disney-Fox reset. It's no secret that the only reason the MCU took so long to make their own Fantastic Four film was, of course, the rights for the characters. Just like the X-Men, Spider-Man, and Venom, 21st Century Fox held the rights to the Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer, despite them being Marvel Comics characters. This all changed, however, when Disney, who also owns the MCU, acquired 21st Century Fox in 2019, which finally allowed Kevin Feige and co. to begin working on these characters to include them in their cinematic universe. It might surprise you to learn that before Fox ever owned the rights to the Surfer, the legal rights actually belonged to a German film company called Constantine Films. Remember when Spider-Man made a crossover into the MCU despite the merger between Disney and Fox still not being fully finalized? Around that time, Kevin Feige was asked by a journalist whether something similar would be attempted for the Silver Surfer, but the answer was a flat no, as he confirmed that only Spider-Man was ever discussed between the two groups. Amidst all these talks of a merger that were going on in 2018 and 2019, prolific comic writer Brian K. Vaughan had been approached with a secret project for a Silver Surfer film. I guess it wasn't that big of a secret if we found out about it, but following the merger, it seems to have vanished, along with numerous other rumors that were springing up around that time. time. When the Surfer did make a return on the big screen in the Fantastic Four First Steps in the MCU, we got a totally different version of the character instead. It's true that Shia LaBeouf has appeared as the Silver Surfer in comics before, specifically in the Earth X series by Jim Krueger, Alex Ross, and John Paul Leon, but the MCU's decision to go in this direction was pretty interesting. Julia Garner gave one hell of a performance, but we're not gonna lie to you, part of us wishes they had gone for Norrin Radd. We're simply more familiar with the original Surfer, but hey, we've still got our hopes up that one day we'll see a solo Silver Surfer film from the MCU in the not-too-distant future.
Show off.
Why Silver Surfer stays trapped in development hell. If you've been watching this video closely, we've already explained most of the reasons why the Surfer is trapped in development hell. In the 90s, the technology was too costly to make a CGI film that would do justice to this iconic character. Despite this, a university student who was a budding filmmaker managed to create a short film on the character using computer graphics that were considered revolutionary at the time. Nearly every studio jumped at the creator of this short film, Eric Fleming and his friends, but nothing materialized from it because the rights for the character were still held by the aforementioned Constantine film. I also found out that Quentin Tarantino, yep, the same man behind hits like Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, had been rejected by Constantine Film after he approached them to make a Silver Surfer film. I mean, we can't even imagine what a Tarantino Silver Surfer film would have looked like, but I think you'll agree that we were absolutely robbed of this historic opportunity. Since then, the character's been a hot potato, being passed around from one hand to another, with no studio willing to take a financial gamble on a solo film. However, Shia LaBeouf's appearance as the Surfer in last year's MCU Fantastic Four has once again rekindled our optimism that the Surfer will escape development hell one day. It's sort of ironic that a character that can literally surf through the cosmos is chained behind corporate red tape. That said, we'd love to hear your thoughts. You think that we're going to be getting a Silver Surfer film anytime soon? Let us know what you think in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more stuff like it. For now though, it's time for me to say goodbye, although I hope to see you soon in our next video. Until then, stay safe out there, and stay marvelous.